Hi guys, and welcome to Debbie's Rusty Brush. I'm Deborah Straight. I'm the owner and artist here. If you've been here before, you know what my channel's about. It's thrift flips and thrift hauls and art and furniture, and basically if I can put paint on it, I put paint on it. So if you like that kind of video and that kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel, giving me a thumbs up, hitting the little bell notification so that you get notified anytime I upload a video, and share with your friends to help my channel grow, and if you know anybody that enjoys this kind of content. So what we've got going today is a thrift flip. Now this first thing that I'm going to be doing, I don't know that we will get done, but I'll let you know each step that I am doing. So what we're going to start with, and I did start this a little while ago and it's really having problems setting up. So what I've got going here is I've got this silver plated plate and this pewter pitcher. And what I am doing is I am taking hammered copper, Rustolium here, and I am spray painting it, and I have done the bottom of this so that we can get started. So all I'm doing is spray painting this, and then we're going to take the Dixie Belle copper patina and the blue and the green spray, and we're going to give this some patina, and they will be a set that goes together in my booth with some flowers in it for fall. So that is what I envision, but like I said, I started this earlier. We've still got a little bit of tack going on, so I don't know that we will get this finished on this video, but let's give it a go and see if we can at least get to where we put the patina on and you guys can see that. All right.
Okay, so we are just going to do a voiceover here so that we can speed this up. So I'm going in with a dry brush of Pennies from Heaven, and it wasn't showing up enough, so I thought we'd do a base of white first. And so we're just dry brushing some white onto our wood turkey, and we're going to do white all the way through the bird itself. So front and back on the bird will be dry brushed with white. I am using a DIY white swan to do this portion, and I'm just getting a good coating of dry brush all the way around the bird. Okay, and then we are going to go ahead and do white on the pumpkin. Just so that when we add our other colors, it pops versus being against that very dark wood. Okay, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our Pennies from Heaven, which is a DIY copper patina, and we are doing all of the wings on our turkey, front and back, with the Pennies from Heaven. Alright, and so now the pumpkin we are going to go in and dry brush with DIY's Summer Crush, which is the darker of the two oranges. And we're just going to go through, we want some of the white to show, but mostly we're going to have the dry brush of the orange, and then we are going to dry brush the Pennies from Heaven liquid patina over the top of that. All right, and we're gonna let that dry for now.
In some water. And I think we're good enough to go to our next project. All right, so I was given this for free, and we're going to just cut this bow off because, well, it's really homely. So this is just a blue pitcher. I like it a lot. We're gonna clean it up here. And if it cleans up well enough, then I think that we're just gonna put a transfer on it. Just as it sits. Because this blue color is kind of nice. And clean out the inside a little bit. It's not bad, just a little dusty. All right. So, I think that is very pretty. And we are just going to get a transfer here and put a transfer on there. What do we want to put on there? Maybe we'll do this chicken. Let's see here. We can get into this transfer. Now this is a redesign transfer, and this is the minis. And so let's see what we want to do here. It might be a little hard to get on there, but this one. This one I think would work nicely, so let's go ahead and cut them out. Are going to be going around a bit of a circle here, so it just takes a little patience. And let's see if we can use this for a scraper. And so you can see it start to release as it releases on to our pitcher here. And any place that comes up as you're lifting, you can just put it back down and do a bit more burnishing here with it. Now, because this is round, it does take a little bit of patience. Right there, the bottom of that sunflower was not coming off. So we just put it back down and burnish a little bit more. And in most cases you can see it start to come off of this backing paper and attach itself to what you're putting it on. And that is very helpful. Now I do have a good hold on this corner so that it won't shift if something had come off there. And then we'll burnish it really good. And there we go. Now, let's see if there's anything else in here that we would like to add. I just don't think so, because I think that if we did add anything, it's just going to be down below. And I'm just going to add to the one side, because that way you always have the option of turning it the other way. So we're going to go ahead and put our transfer away, and we're going to make sure we're good and burnished. Now on this, what I'm going to do is I am going to use some Rustolium in matte, so it won't add any sheen to our picture. This is decorative only. But we do want to make sure that it's cleanable. So we'll let that dry, and that will dry up matte like the rest of the picture, and it will have that cute little chicken on there. All right. Now what we've got going on is, how are we doing on drying? Oh, this is going to dry a little bit faster than the other. Okay, so let's take a look here. Yeah, the bottom's still wet, so let's let it sit a little while longer. And this is sticking up still on the bottom. The top is doing okay. I am going to go ahead and let that continue to dry. Okay, so what I have got now is I have this very cute vase. I have two of them. They are identical other than size. The other one is larger than this. This one had a boo-boo, and they put it back together really poorly. So the handle was put back on, and this piece right here was in two pieces, and they put that back on. I got it for $1 because of the damage to it. So we are just going to clean this up, and because it does match the other one, but I cannot match this finish, what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves basically a salt wash, but we're going to use, it still feels dirty. We're going to use baking soda, and we're going to make ourselves a salt wash that we can stipple on here. And so we're going to get a brush, and what color should we do? It is green, the other one's green, but because we're not going to be matching, and because of the time of year it is, let's go ahead and do some orange. All right. So what we're going to do is put quite a bit. You know what? I'm going to put some crescent seal in our bowl. And the reason I'm going to do that is this bowl is like a cardboard type, and I've done this before and it just mixes up poorly. Okay, so let's get some of our summer crush in here, and our summer crush is a little bit thick anyway, so we're going to add a little water to it, and then we're going to put in some baking soda. And I may have got a little carried away. Oops, you can't see. That's my baking soda. But we can add water and more paint if we need more paint. We want to get this mixed in really well. Let's go ahead and add a little bit water. Because I think this is going to be more than enough paint for us. And okay, so then we're going to take our chip brush and we're just going to dip it in here and we're going to stipple it on. And this is a very, very slick surface. So we may have to, yeah, it's just not going to stick to that surface without some kind of prep to it. So what we are going to do with that is we are going to go ahead and take our clear matte finish and we're going to give it a spray. And that will give something for this to grab onto. So once that dries, that will give something for our paint to grab onto that is not shiny and slick. So let's go ahead and start stippling now. Now see the difference? It's going to stick better. And we want to cover up the entire thing. I do think that we could use a little bit more water or a little bit more paint, but our paint was not, it was starting to dry up with the clay as it was. So let's go ahead and just add a little bit more water in there. All right. There we go. That's better. A better texture, better consistency. This will probably take 2 coats. To get full coverage. So we're just gonna continue to stipple. All right, so you get the idea, and I'm going to turn this off and we'll be back when it's done. All right, guys, well, let this continue to set. This is the vase. We are going to put some brown wax on it. I did do 2 coats, and I did seal it with our matte spray after we were done, before we do the wax. So that's where we're at with that. Now we are going to move on to this, and like I said, I don't know that you'll see it done, but because it's still really sticky here on the bottom, I don't know what we're going to do about that, but we'll play with that later. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to use the Dixie Belle patina paint. Now whenever you use this, always use a old chip brush. What I have is a new chip brush, but it's an inexpensive one. I guess I've got you where you can't really see me. Because you don't want to wash this stuff out in your plumbing, because it will corrode your plumbing. So what you want to do is shake it really well so that you get the metals that is in this patina all shook up and all around. And then you just decide where you want it, and you put it on here. Where you want your patina to be. And then we're going to let this dry, and then we will put a second coat on, and the second coat that we put on, we will put the spray right on over the top while that's wet. All right, so let's go ahead and see where we want to patina this. And honestly, where I want to patina it is really right here around the handles, right here on the lip. I am doing a spot here because I had a fingerprint in the original spray paint. So right here on this handle and down, I'm going to do some down here. So now with this, it does kind of blend in a little bit, so you're definitely going to want to try and remember where you put it the first time. And I'm going to put some on the handle here. All right. So we're going to let that dry. And then, once that's dry, we'll put a second coat of this patina magic stuff on there, and then we will have it be with this stuff, which takes anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, and that's why I said I don't know if you guys will get to see that or not. Now, I am going to go back in here on our turkey, turn you down just a little bit again, and I am going to just clean up the area that is his talons, because I want that all to be the whiter color. I don't care if there's a little teeny bit of the orange or the copper patina on there, but I want it to stand out from our pumpkin. So, with the brush I was using before, it was like almost impossible to not get my talons all oranged. All right. So that's our turkey. I do think that I am going to take my copper again with this teeny tiny brush that I have the white on. We're going to wipe it off and just really dry brush just little bits of him, like right here on his wattle. Set his wattle off a little bit. His little beak. That is good, and so we will let that dry, and then we will do a little waxing to that as well. So let's see here. I think that is pretty dry. Now, as you can look, I didn't go all the way down inside, and so you're going to have green there, and right here on the bottom there's going to be the green. But you know what? You cannot see where that poor glue job was. You cannot see where the handle was broken. All of that has just disappeared with this particular way of doing this. And like I said, it matches the other vase, but I don't think, I still think that they will coordinate okay, other than this will have texture and that will be smooth. And I will price them separately, so that isn't a concern. Let's put that away. Alright, so let's get the brown wax and let's see where we want to round this up a little. I don't think we want to brown wax the whole thing. I think we just want to hit certain areas. I do think I want the whole inside here to have a bit of brown. Yeah, right here on the tip of the handle. Alright. we like it with the brown or plain. I'm kind of digging it with the brown. So let's just do a light browning everywhere. Doesn't have to be heavy. It just dulls that orange a little bit, and we used the duller of the two oranges but it just gives a little more depth and interest. And like I said, we don't need a lot of brown, just a touch. And I do want more like where it would be handled here with the handle, because it would pick up more grease from people's hands, oils and such, and it would change the color there a little bit. And I should be using a lint-free cloth, especially with this texture, but I'm using what I'm using, so here. I like it a little heavier here at the bottom as well. Just kind of lighter through the rest of that. All right. And what's really cool is that there are areas that you can still just almost really see the green through. Alright, so I kind of like that with the brown wax mixed in here and there. A little heavier in some areas, lighter in others, but it just really sets off that texture. And there's a couple of areas where wax brush and burnish it while we're there. We go. What do you guys think? Do you like that? I kind of do. It certainly was worth the $1 to bring this back to life. We will let that set up a little bit, and then I will go in with the soft cloth and buff it. And I think that this is ready to wax, and I'm going to go in with dark wax here over our white, just to tone that back a little. Good and toned, and so yeah, that is looking really good with that dark wax over that white. Now, of course, the Pennies from Heaven is a seal coat all of its own, so I am not going to wax over that. You can, doesn't hurt it at all, but I like the color that it is right now, so I don't feel the need to wax over something I like. But the white that we had going on here, I like. It gave a good distinction between areas, but it did need to be knocked down just a little bit. And need to work with the rest of our bird. Okay, so now what do you think of him? I like him. I like him much better than when he was wood. I liked him wood, but I like him better now because he has got some dimension going on for him. And there is something to wipe him back with. Do a little buffing. Yeah. Let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down on the turkey. I'm liking him better than just wood. He has some detail now and he stands out. So that's my personal preference. Let's get him out of the way there. All right, and let's see how we're doing for dryness on, oh yeah, we're doing good. Okay. So once again, with this, we are going to shake this up because we want those metals to be distributed throughout. And then try to remember where you did the first time. Go in heavy-handed, and we want this to be wet when we put this other stuff on. And this is such a small area. I'm going to go ahead and spray the whole thing that I've done here at one time. If you're doing a piece of furniture, you might want to do it in sections, but like I said, with this being such a small area, this is still going to be really wet when I go to put this patina paint on, this patina spray. Now, the green and the blue work with the copper. So we're just gonna randomly put some spray in here. Maybe. Now you can do this by the spray. You can do this with a brush or with a sponge. Now I am going to go in here and just dab it off of areas that I do not have the patina paint on, so that it doesn't fully stain in those areas. Okay, so take, so the bottom is sticking to everything. We'll have to go through and do some more work on that, but we're going to leave that there. Then we're going to go ahead and take this, and once again I'm going to put my lid on securely, and I'm going to shake it up. And again, try to remember the brush in there. Try to remember where you had it to begin with and put it back in those areas. Again, doing a heavy coat because we want this to be wet so that it has something to activate against. Again, you will want to throw this away. I am going to keep it for the moment just to make sure that everything is activating the way I want it to. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit harder because this is not going to pool on there the way that it pools in the other piece. So it may have a little bit different reaction look to it here, but you can kind of see how it is already starting. And they say that it can go several hours. And I'm just going to pull off, like I said, where it's running down and I don't have the patina paint on there. And it will just stain that paint. It won't go through and activate like it is on the rest of this. All right, so I'm going to leave that there and see if you can get a decent shot of what it's doing here, but it is definitely activating against that. All right, so because just in case I want to add some more in there, I am going to wrap this brush in Impression Seal so that even though I'm going to throw this brush away, if I decide that I need more activation in there, I want to be able to get that. And any overspray that came over onto this. Not that it's going to hurt this, but I just want to get that off there. Okay, so then the only other things that I have here to do at the moment is I have these really cool chicken napkin holders. And honestly, I would do nothing with them if some of them were not chipped up. But some of them have the red chipping off up here. And so that kind of doesn't work for me, but I think they're cute. So what I'm going to do is I am going to wipe them down really good with my Clorox wipes here. Get them good and clean. If I can get one out of here, I'm getting a whole bunch. All right. So I'm going to wipe these down really good, get all of the dust and the grime, and see some of them have areas where they just aren't the best. So like this has some brown in there that's just not going to wipe off there, but we do want to get them good and cleaned. So that we know they're good and clean. See, there's a place where the enamel just didn't even get on there. I mean, it didn't get fired in that area. So cute, but not usable. Well, they're usable, but they're just not as good as we would like them to be. So we're gonna go ahead and get them dry. And I'm gonna leave my Lazy Susan over there with my copper working. Now we probably will not have the copper done to go to the booth before this video is done. But basically I'm going to get this, see how the patina is working. Hopefully I'll be able to get a good shot of the patina before we take off, but I will style it next time I plan to take it because it's just taking longer than I expected. All right, so what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and put some press and seal back here in my bowl. And I'm going to take another little chip brush and my white swan. What did I do with it? There it is. All right, so I'm going to take white swan. You know what? I am going to take apothecary if I have any. Or maybe farm fresh. No, let's do it. Okay. I do have some. I don't have a lot. We're going to take some apothecary. And I'm going to just dab this on. So I want a little texture with it. I am not going to do the underneath part here. Because they'll actually sit on that. Just going to dab apothecary throughout here. We'll do 2 coats of this kind of dabby motion. Just so that we get good coverage everywhere and we get a little bit of texture in with this. Now our second coat, we may go ahead and add the little bit of cornstarch too to get a little more texture. I'm not sure yet. But we certainly won't do as much cornstarch as we did with our vase. Because we don't want to lose the detail of our chicken. So let's put him over there and get rid of my fingerprints. And we will let him set up really good and then we will white wax. So really I want to make sure that the red and the yellow area get really good coverage, and the rest of it, if it doesn't get perfect coverage, I'm okay with that because the white wax is going to bring out those details again anyway. So let's see the best way to go about doing this. Let's do the inside here first. All right, so I am going to go ahead and hop off here, put 2 coats of our apothecary on. I've decided I don't think we're going to do any of the texture medium in here. I think it's going to be fine without it. I will easy peasy spray wax them. And then once that has had time to set, we will go through and put a white wax on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn you off now for the moment because this will get really boring for you to sit and watch. Alright guys, that is it for this video. This is how our little chicken napkin rings turned out, all white waxed and painted apothecary. And I did get this all done. So it has a nice fall bouquet in it, and it's just aged copper. I have a burlap bow there. So I am liking that. It's a little different than your typical farmhouse look. And then of course we have our orange vase, and we did style that with some flowers. And we went with the more neutral colors since our vase is orange. And then our little decorative pitcher. I am not going to put flowers in this. It would be cost prohibitive because it is so big. It would take so many flowers. But you could put flowers in that or just set it on a shelf to be super cute. And then we have our turkey. And I really like the way he came out as well. The brown wax just really helped pull that all together. And so that was our thrift haul. So, and our thrift flip. So, those will be headed to the booth tomorrow along with the previous video that we saw. And I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.